Buenos dias, gente feliz. Coming at you again from inside the house. Continuation on our French door project. When we left off, we had the doors hung, we had the trim installed, and we're up to the point where we're ready to start doing the finishing work, the painting and caulking and all of that. But before we get started with that, I noticed over the last couple days while we've had the doors hung here that there's a gap difference right here, right? So up top versus that one. So what I'm gonna do to try and correct that is I'm gonna add a shim behind this hinge to bring this door over a little bit to straighten it out. So we're gonna start out by doing that before we go any further. So we're gonna set up and try and get that done. All right, so first thing we'll do is we'll open the doors. And then we're going to grab our handy screwdriver and try and undo this top hinge. Not going to take it out all the way because I'm going to try and put a shim behind it and pull it on and then test it. So I have some material back here. It's just some magnetic strip that's fairly thin. So I'm going to cut a section off and stick it behind the hinge to shim it out, and maybe we'll have to use 2 pieces of it, but we'll see what we can get. So let's measure that off. And it's easy just to tear, so we'll just tear a piece out. Stick it behind the hinge. Put the screw back in. Great, it just fell. Alright, let's see how one does. I think we can go one more. Looks like that'll do it. So, since we're going to be taking the doors out to paint them, I'm going to take them off and I'll use the material later on when I finally install the doors to shim it out correctly. So, for now, let's take the doors off. going to take these doors out and start prepping them for paint. Alright folks, so we're ready to start painting the doors out here. We're going to start out by giving them a good wipe down with the microfiber. And we set up a stool between our doors with our can of paint that we happen to have laying around. Covered it with cardboard so we don't drip all over our nice stool. And then we're going to grab our paintbrush and we're just going to start putting a coat of paint down on here. So let's wipe them down. Give them a good wipe off. Make sure there's no dust and dirt. Open up our paint. Alright, place the lid underneath, out of the way. Proceed to painting our doors. Okay, so the first coat is on. We're going to let that dry a little while, and then we're going to put it on another coat. So while the paint is drying, we're going to go wash our brush so it doesn't get all crusty. And then we're going to go try and caulk all the nail holes and everything on the door inside and get that frame all prepared for painting. Alright, so in one of our last episodes I mentioned that there was a gap in the wood here from the way we had to trim out this wall. So now we're going to caulk that gap up with some caulking and also fill in all the little holes left behind by the brad nailer. So we have our little trusty caulk gun here, and we're going to lay a bead of caulk.
We're going to use a finger to smooth it all out. Take the towel, wipe up the excess.
Alright, looks nice. Now let's go ahead and fill in any other gaps we see and all the little holes.
So just using the finger with some caulking on it to push it down into all the little holes, wipe it flat.
Alright, that's all the holes and gaps and cracks filled and smoothed out, and let that dry up a little bit and we'll go check on the doors. Alright folks, it looks like our first coat of paint is dry, so we can go ahead with our second coat. Make these doors nice, bright, and white. Alright, so again we're going to open up paint can. Put this underneath again. And then we'll get to painting. Two coats of paint. I think that'll do it. They're white. So we're going to let this side dry. And we're going to go inside and start painting the frame up while he's dry. And then we're going to flip the doors over and give the other side 2 coats of paint. Alright, we're inside now with our trusty paintbrush and our can of paint on the floor. So now we're going to start painting the trim in here. Very carefully so we don't make a mess. Okay, all the trim is done, but you'll have to wait to see everything for the final reveal. Let's go check on those doors. We still need to make the strip that goes down the center on the left door to block out the light, and we'll need to install that, and then we'll paint the other side of the door once we're done. Alright folks, to make the trim divider that goes between the doors to block the light, we need a strip of wood, 1.5 inch wide or so, and the length of the door basically. So I found this nice oak 2x6 hanging in my wood rafters, and we're going to round up 2 sides of it using the round over bit, and then we're going to cut a 3/8 wide strip off of it using the table saw to make our centerpiece. So let's get to it. Alright, That give us a nice double rounded edge. Now we're gonna cut a strip the full length of this, approximately 3/8 of an inch thick. To do that, we need to pull out the table saw. Okay, so we got the saw out. I'm gonna raise the blade. A little bit higher than the thickness of the wood. Like that. And then we're going to set the fence back so that it leaves 3/8 of an inch off on this side. I like it. Let's go. Alright, that gives us our 3/8 inch thick board. Now this will sand down, and it's got some wormholes in it from some bugs that got into the wood somewhere. So we're going to fill those in with some caulking and make it all smooth. And we'll do that all over it because it's got some holes all up and down it a little bit. So we'll get all that caulked in, and then we'll add it to the door and we'll paint over it. Alright, let's get to filling in these wormholes.
Now normally I would use like a wood filler to do this, but because I'm painting these white, I'm just going to use the cotton.
I laid down some microfiber cloth so when I flip this door over on the painted side it'll be protected. Here's our strip. Prepare to put it on the door. Okay. So there's going to be a little bit of a gap at the top so that the strip at the top of the door frame has room to recess in here, and there might be just a small gap in there, but that's cool because this is the length of the board that it was. So I made it flush on the other end, and we're going to leave it hanging over half the thickness of the board like that, and then we're going to use our brad nailer and tack it in place. Alright, so found some shorter brad nails. Let's get this thing together. That should hold it. Now let's go grab some more of that caulking, fill in these holes. Alright, we'll let that dry up, and meanwhile we'll move the other door to the other sawhorses and we'll start painting it. Put down the microfiber cloths to protect the painted side. Put it down. Okay. Here we go. Alright folks, that's 2 coats of paint on the doors. Both sides. So I'm gonna let that dry up, and then we'll go to the next step. So we bought these set of ball catches. It's got a recessed plate that gets mounted in the top of the door frame, and then it's got a ball on a spring that gets mounted in top of the door. So what the idea is that as the door closes, the latch plate decompresses the ball, and the ball springs into place into this recess and then locks the door in place. So we're going to be installing these in the top of our doors. So to start out, to put these ball stops into our doors, we're going to measure off an equal distance on each side of each door, right? The outside of this door and the outside of this door, an equal distance in, and halfway the distance of the thickness of the door. So first let's measure the thickness of the door. Alright, it's 1.5 inches thick. So we're going to go 750 going to be our center line. So since our hinges are on the insides of the doors, our ball detents have to go on the outside of the doors. So we're just going to draw a line at the top of the door over here at our 750 mark. Actually, it's a little bit less than 750. Okay. 625. That looks closer. Okay. It's that side. That's that side. Now, we want them equally spaced. So, I'm going to say I want them about right there. About 2 inches off the edge. So now that we've got a crosshair on our center, we're going to drill we're going to measure this first, but I believe it's a 3/4 inch hole. Closest thing I got in a Forstner bit is 3/4, and it looks like that'll do it. So we're going to drill that hole in there. Go get a drill. All right, safety glasses on. We got our drill. Let's cut some holes.
Line it up with the center of our mark. And speed. Forgot to hollow door. Let's check our ball.
So it fits in there, and it's got these little nubs right here. So when I put it in there, I'm going to tap it with the hammer, and it'll compress in there nice and tight. So right now it slips in to that point, and then we'll hit it with a hammer and knock it in place. Let's go drill the other hole. Forstner bits are hard to use with a drill. Better on a drill press. Alright, let's go grab a mallet. Alright, got our mallet. We're going to tap these in now. Perfect. All right, we are ready to go install these doors. All right, folks. I finalized the installation of the doors, installed the hardware and everything else off camera because I wanted to save it all for the big reveal. So without further ado, dun 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 dun! Our new French doors! Right this way! And there we have it. nice set of French doors, handles and all. So the handles we just screwed on, they were just dummy handles, and up top are the ball detents. So that little ball goes inside the plate there and locks in place. So there's one door, 2 door, and there we go. Nice, beautiful French doors. Well, I do hope y'all enjoyed this project as much as I did. It was a long time coming putting this door in. We've been talking about it for quite some time, and finally got it done. I think it turned out really swell. The wife really likes it. I really like it. I hope y'all really like it. So we'll keep them coming. Just tell us how you like it in the comments, and if you would, please like and subscribe. Deuces.